Hi, my name is Sam, and I just had a microdiscectomy surgery yesterday. Today is July 30th of 2025. I noticed that there were a lot of videos out there, but there were some things that I wondered that, well, I just had questions on, and I figured I would make a video just to hopefully be able to help some of you. So in this first video, I'm just going to go through the chain of events of the actual surgery, and I'll try to keep it short, and then I'll make other videos that'll address different things. Okay, so first off, I had the surgery at a surgery center, not a hospital. It was located in Santa Barbara, California, which is about an hour drive from where I live up in Vandenberg Village, just north of Santa Barbara. So the surgery itself started about 9:45-ish. I had to get there around 7. Once I got there, I had some paperwork, co-pay. I think I paid $77. That was my part. About 7:30, they took me back. There was a little bed. That's what they wheeled me into the operating room in. So they hooked me up to an IV, and of course I had to change. They put me in a gown. It's one of those gowns that you put on from the front, ties in the back, only they leave that untied. And then you are, in my case, I was able to keep my underwear on, and then they changed, I had to change socks. They give you these, non-slip socks, and that was it. Let's see, I'm going through notes. I took a bunch of notes just because I wanted to be able to give information as accurately as I could, just because I didn't know what to expect in a lot of ways. So again, they gave me an IV. It was some kind of an antibiotic. And I remember that made me feel kind of weird, not nauseous, but it was like I was a little hungry. I think the previous day I had to stop eating by midnight. I think I had something about 7 o'clock at night the day prior. So I was a little hungry, my stomach was growling, but I wouldn't have been able to eat. And that's just the way the antibiotics made me feel. But again, I wasn't nauseous. It was just a weird feeling. I can't really explain that. About 9 o'clock, anesthesiologist came in, and he gave me a pain block. So basically what they did is he had me lay on my side, and he, I don't know what he was doing, but I could sure feel it. And that was the most pain of the whole experience. And it just kind of made me, twitch a little bit when he first stuck whatever he did in there. And anyway, that pain block was supposed to, alleviate any pain in the leg or lower back. Prior to that, my doctor, the surgeon, had come in, and she had marked my back. So again, I had a L4, L5 herniation on the left side. It was causing left side sciatica. And when I say sciatica, it wasn't leg pain. It was like I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. It was really bad. And of course, lower back pain, which I'd been suffering from a very long time. Okay, about 9:30, they wheeled me into the OR. And I was probably in there about 10 minutes while they were prepping everything. And I just remember they put a mask on me, had me start breathing, and didn't know what that was. It wasn't what put me to sleep, but it wasn't oxygen. It was it had some kind of a smell to it. So some type of gas, maybe just something helped me calm down or whatever. And then he had a syringe, and I had an IV. They had it in my arm about here. And he had a pretty good sized syringe that he poked into the IV. And he said, you're going to be out in about 20 seconds. And okay. And it was really, really bright. They had tons of lights, really bright lights for this procedure. And I just remember looking at all the people and looking at the lights. And I kept waiting for somebody to say, okay, count down. They never told me that. So anyway, I think I was probably, if I lasted 5 seconds, I'd be surprised. That's the last thing I remember, seeing the lights and the people, and I was gone. So that was that. The procedure itself, I was told it would take anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what they find. I have not spoken with my surgeon since then, and and I don't know how long it took. I'm supposed to have a follow-up conversation with her tomorrow. The anesthesiologist was there. When I did wake up, I think it had been about an hour after the procedure, so it took roughly that long for me to kind of come to, and I think I was kind of awake, but not really alert. Anyway, after about an hour, my wife, she arrived, and at that point, okay, I knew what was going on. This is the first time I was under any general anesthesia. And for me, unless I just don't remember what happened beforehand, from my perspective, I woke up, I wasn't confused. I knew exactly where I was and, that I was having that procedure done. And then from this point on, it seemed very rushed. Like, not that they were trying to get me out of there, but it just seemed like it went from 0 to 100 really quick. The anesthesiologist was making a recommendation that I don't take the pain meds that I've been given for 24 hours. Now, we're not talking about, I had some muscle relaxers prescribed and then also some Tylenol. Those I was able to take right when I first got home, and you take them every 6 hours. I'll make another video just on the meds, so I won't get into that. But as far as the oxy that they had prescribed, I didn't take that just because he advised against that. Let's see, what else? They did make me go to the bathroom, or more specifically, they wanted me to urinate before being released. That's a big deal. I didn't really have to go, but I was able to. They weren't in the room with me. They just, let me go. They stepped outside, and I was able to use the restroom, and then came out, and everything was fine. That was the first point that I had walked. I wasn't in any real pain. I was still kind of out of it. Pain-wise, I would call it a 1 or a 2. It was just more pressure. Oh, I woke up and I had a belt. I'll show you the belt here in a minute, but I didn't buy that. That was something in the pre-op appointment that they had fitted to me, and then I woke up and it was on. So anyway, as I said, I urinated, and then they had me change, and that was basically it. From that point on, it was just, they put me in a wheelchair, wheeled me down to the parking garage, and then my wife pulled up the car, and I got in the car, and we drove home. Now, it is about an hour drive, and I was concerned. I had heard a lot of people talking about how they had trouble sitting, so I was a little concerned about an hour drive. I was fine. I would say this, it's good to have a vehicle that reclines, because like sometimes trucks, they don't really have a lot of room to recline if it's like a single cab. We have an SUV, and I was able to recline it, and I was able to get comfortable, so no problem there. I was home by about 12:30. So again, I got there at 7. I was wheeled back around 9:30. I'm guessing it was about 9:45 that they started the procedure. Lasted somewhere around an hour. And then it took some time for me to wake up from the anesthesia. And then I had to urinate, changed, and I left. And like I said, hour drive, I was home by 12:30. So pretty quick procedure. When I got home, pain level was, I would call it a 2 or a 3. And anyway, I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll do another video on actually getting home and what I experienced. But the one thing I'll leave with is I have stairs in the house, and I had heard a lot of people talking about how they slept on the couch, downstairs because I don't know, maybe they didn't want to try to go up the stairs. I was fine walking. In fact, it's just now, just over 24 hours since that procedure, and we'll walk in the next video maybe.